On to another conflict. Trade war continues to escalate as US President Donald Trump threatens further tariffs on European Union goods after EU said it will impose counter tariffs on 26 billion euros worth of American goods from next month, while Canada said it will impose 29.8 billion Canadian dollars in retaliatory tariffs on the US effective Thursday. Expressing disappointment over Donald Trump's tariffs, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer said his government will take a pragmatic approach and keep all options on the table. Fuzail Ahmed gets us more.
Global trade war continues to escalate with the announcement of tariffs and countermeasures as US trading partners warned of retaliation for trade barriers. On Wednesday, US President Donald Trump threatened with further tariffs on European Union goods, with Irish Prime Minister Michael Martin at his side at the White House. US President Donald Trump criticized the EU member country for luring away US pharmaceutical companies.
The European Union treats us very badly. They have for years. I saw that. I had it out with them in my first term. It did well, but we had to solve other problems, and we did. But European Union's been very tough, and it's our turn too. You know, we get a turn at that also, but they have not been fair. They sue our companies and win massive amounts of money. They sued Apple, won $17 billion.
Trump's assertion came after European Union said it will impose counter tariffs on 26 billion euros worth of US goods from next month.
Our countermeasures will be introduced in two steps, starting with April 1st and fully in place as of April 13th. In the meantime, we will always remain open to negotiations. We firmly believe that in a world fraught with geo-economic and political uncertainties, it is not in our common interest to burden our economies with such tariffs.
The EU's countermeasures would target US goods like dental floss, diamonds, bathrobes, and bourbon, which likewise account for a small portion of the joint EU-US commercial relationship. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer expressed his disappointment over Trump's latest tariffs, but added his government will take a pragmatic approach and keep all options on the table.
On the question of tariffs, obviously, like everybody else, I'm disappointed to see global tariffs in relation to steel and aluminium. But we will take a pragmatic approach. We are, as he knows, negotiating an economic deal which covers and will include tariffs if we succeed, but we will keep all options on the table.
Canada too announced reciprocal tariffs on US imported goods.
I am announcing that the Government of Canada, following a dollar-for-dollar approach, will be imposing 25% reciprocal tariffs on an additional $29.8 billion of imports from the United States.
Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum said her country will not immediately retaliate against steel and aluminium tariffs imposed by Trump, adding she will wait until April 12th. Trump's focus on tariffs has rattled investor, consumer, and business confidence and raised recession fears. Close US allies Britain and Australia criticized the blanket tariffs but ruled out immediate tit-for-tat duties. While Brazil, the number 2 provider of steel to the United States, said it would not immediately retaliate. Fuzail Ahmed reports for DD India.
And DD India correspondent Mark Lynn joins us live from New Delhi. Mark, what is the direction in which this tit-for-tat trade tariffs appear to be headed?
Well, Shubhendu, for the moment, one can see that, the tit-for-tat trade tariffs are going to increase tensions, global trade tensions for the short term. But after a period of time, we are going to see negotiations. People are going to renegotiate their terms. They're going to find new markets, and things will settle down. But for the initial period, we are going to see, people using this dollar-for-dollar kind of retaliation, tariffs for tariffs. As we are seeing, we have to look at the larger goal of the United States, and the United States is now going to pursue this policy at least for 4 years. The idea is that the US has a trade deficit annually of about $1 trillion, and it has to mop up at least $250 billion through revenue from these kind of tariffs, also reduce its trade deficit by reducing its imports. So hopefully it's trying to get a balance of about $500 billion in trade deficit, which is also significantly high for the world's largest economy. But over a period of time, the United States is hoping that, it's trying to balance its trade with most countries where it has huge deficits. And the administration is going to follow that path. And other countries will just have to, renegotiate their terms for the moment. They have to find newer markets. Their products will have to start becoming more competitive as the US looks inward to try and increase its own supply within its own manufacturing belt.
And Mark, taking cue from the kind of shock that global stock markets have experienced in the past days, what are the implications of this potential trade war, the speculation on national and global economies? How is America impacted?
Indeed. So let's look at national economies first. What's going to happen is, as we're already seeing, countries will feel the impact hitting their industries which are used to exporting to the United States market. So there will be a period of protectionism where they were going to increase their own tariffs on these products coming in from the market that they were targeting. Then there will be a little bit more protectionism to try and defend those industries from going out of business. There might be a devaluation of certain currencies to become competitive in the global market. So this is what's going to happen nationally, as well as for the medium term in the global market. What happens is for the United States, there will be inflation in the short term, but over a period of time, we can see that, at least this is the plan, that manufacturing in the United States will pick up. They will rely more on their own markets. They will rely on their own manufacturing sector to produce goods and services. And that will lead to less reliance on imports. Also, that will lead to further job creations in their own markets, which will spur the consumption aspect of demand. And they hopefully, over a period of time, that will settle down. Let's say in a period of about a year, we'll have a new system where prices will probably, we'll go back to presuming. Because if you look at things as they stand, if you just continue to increase prices of everything, then it just leads to inflation. And then people get used to that new inflation as a new entry point into the market.
Mark, thank you very much for joining us with that analysis.